Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Michael Noland here. Tonight we're going to be covering the film and a little bit of the album Celebration Day by Led Zeppelin. Now, the reason that I chose to cover this particular concert is because I just covered a very similar concert for the band Creedence Clearwater Revival. If you have seen that video, for many reasons, I consider that a wonderful Christmas present this year. But I also covered in that video that Creedence didn't get a whole lot of love from their record company, especially John Fogerty. But with the film Celebration Day, we find a band that's actually grateful to their old record company, so grateful that they are doing a tribute concert for Ahmet, their friend, the head of Atlantic Records. And we even get Robert Plant at one point saying that at least back in the day, Atlantic Records was the very best record company that a band could possibly dream of working with. You know, it's true, they had a great middleman to work with that record company in Peter Grant. That man was no man's fool. He saw himself in many ways as a full-fledged member of Led Zeppelin. He truly loved that band, and he was going to get the very best deal humanly possible. But then there's Ahmet at Atlantic, and you know what? That man made deals with a handshake. And then later, when they typed up the contract, it was exactly what that handshake indicated. And you know, true to that tribute spirit, Led Zeppelin knew there was going to be way too many people wanting tickets for this. They were worried about scalpers on top of that. Do you know there were 20 million official requests for tickets for this concert? And Led Zeppelin chose to go with a fair lottery system. But it wasn't just the lottery that was fair. It was the fact that if you won the lottery, you would have to show up in person in London to pick up your only 2 tickets. That's about as fair as it gets, folks. Are you listening, Ticketmaster? Hey, Bruce, you could learn a thing or two here, huh? Springsteen. But now we get to the actual concert. And what do we have? Well, first of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room. One of the original members is missing. And of course, that's John Bonham, and he's missing for a very good reason. He died in 1980, and the band broke up immediately after. That's the kind of band this band was. Now, his son took over for the evening the drum duties that normally his father would take on. And I think Jason Bonham is a fine drummer, and his style fits right in with them. And of course, he takes on his father's style quite a bit in this concert, and he does it well. Next up, John Paul Jones. Oh my God. You know, John Paul Jones is better in this concert than I've ever seen him in any video ever with Led Zeppelin, ever. That's it, folks. This guy's on top of his game. I love it. Sometimes I'll just listen to this album to hear his lines. They're wonderful. And of course, his keyboard playing is no less wonderful, but I was really blown away by his bass playing this night. I gotta tell you, I'm a bass player. I know what a good bass player is. This man is fabulous. So who do we choose next? Well, really, you've got to take Robert and Jimmy almost as a pair, don't you? I mean, that's how they presented themselves in Led Zeppelin. It was never Robert Plant, the lead singer with Led Zeppelin, and their pretty good guitarist. It was always Led Zeppelin. There were fans who would go just to see John Bonham drum. And you know, the fact that they presented themselves as this jamming pair live always really put the stamp on Led Zeppelin that no other band can touch. There's a secret why Led Zeppelin was always one notch ahead of their closest competition. And you know, this night, Jimmy and Robert did not disappoint. Jimmy is at his very best at times, but it's right when you think he's playing it safe that you notice he goes into changes that you've never quite heard Led Zeppelin play that particular piece ever before, or at least not to my ears anyway. And Robert supplying very interesting changes to the voice, yes, due to his lack of range from his heyday in Led Zeppelin. But you know, that's an old argument. I'm just not even going to go there anymore, because people were complaining about his voice while Led Zeppelin was still Led Zeppelin. Look, the man's voice could not stay in that pristine a shape, and guess what? He's worked with it over the years, and as far as I'm concerned, he is rock and roll's #1 vocalist, and he is my favorite vocalist of all time, no matter the genre. And I'm including greats like Frank Sinatra. I'm a Frank Sinatra fan. I love the way he would approach a note. He's the one that would give us, "I did it, ma." You know, he'd dive into the note. I loved that. And Robert Plant, over the years, has never, ever disappointed me. And you know, Jimmy, when he is at his best, he is as good as I remember him ever being. They all look really marvelous on stage together. And you know what? Here's where we talk about why this is such a great concert. And here it is, folks. It's the audience. It's always the audience. Now, this gets back to the idea of the lottery, okay? Remember, nobody was guaranteed tickets. But as soon as Led Zeppelin chose to go to a lottery system, Led Zeppelin wasn't guaranteed an audience, not one that was of their hardcore fan. And yet, what do we have that night? Every time, and this is another thing, Led Zeppelin had more song ideas in one song than their peers had on their albums. Sorry, but that's the truth. And this audience is, you can hear them live and breathe and sigh and clap and just explode audibly with all of these minute changes in every single song during that concert. No one's ever brought that up, as far as I know. And yet it is as true as this band was truly Led Zeppelin that night.